Hello, good evening, Oral Gibbs, and welcome to Oral Gibbs Live. Coming to you live here from World Star Studios at Amsterdam Shopping Center. And I have a big surprise tonight. The one and only Maria. Maria Chemont, how you doing?
Good evening, Oral. I'm fine, thank you.
It's good to have you in the program. It's been a while, right?
Always a pleasure to be here. Been a while indeed.
How things going with you?
Oh, very well. Very well, praise the Lord. I'm not complaining at all, just enjoying my retirement.
We were so busy talking just a while ago, we didn't even realize that cable had us already on the air.
Oh my goodness. There's so much to talk about, so time slipped by.
So this is the first time I am having you back on the show since your retirement, right?
I was here before,
Yeah,
but
since
not
you
on
retired?
speaking of everything
Oh.
since I think so. Yeah, for January, I believe it was,
okay.
yeah. I had a program.
So you're enjoying your retirement then?
Yeah, well, retirement from government, but not retirement from all the other things that I have to do. I'm just back from having a vacation with my family, like 2 months, because I didn't see them for 3 years.
Wow.
So that was quite a time, a long time to be away from your family. So I'm back and I had an enjoyable time. So I thank God for that.
So you had a 2 month?
2 months vacation with them, the children and grandchildren. And I'm missing them. I'm really missing them.
So how many grandchildren you have now?
4, 3 boys and 1 little girl.
So they keep you busy?
Very much so. The little girl, she's a singer. She sings all day. From the minute she opens her eyes, this child is singing all day. I have to ask her sometimes to just give me a little break here. Be quiet.
How old is she?
She's 5.
But I gotta ask you this. I always tell people that you gotta be very grateful and thankful when you live to see grandchildren.
That's right.
What is it like being a grandparent?
Well, for me, it's like you're looking at the new or the next generation. So, you are so happy and you feel so blessed to know that you have seen at least a next generation, because they are coming.
Of you.
Of me.
Yeah.
And and I am very grateful for that, And you're kind of excited also about them because the children are very intelligent. They are very smart. So, they can really keep you going in sense of conversation even, and even teaching me this phone, because I got a phone, a new phone, a Samsung, and I really don't know how to work with this thing at the time. I didn't know. But the grandchildren could show me. I have a little grandson, he's 11 and 110, and they can show me, they know every feature on this thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, these are really, I call them the new age children. These are the children that technical. They are very technical.
They will learn how to use something very quickly.
They born with that. They computerized.
But it's good, because I think when we reach a certain age, we tend to shy away from technology, but it's very important.
It's true. The fear is there of failure, because when you touch something, it flying on this way, flying on the other way, and then it's like, oh gosh, what's this? And you get nervous, and they're just like, easy, pop, pop. It ain't gone nowhere, it's right here.
But I always encourage elderly people to really get involved with computer and the internet, because it's a whole new world.
It's a new world. It's ruled by that. Everything, the technology, the whole system is involved. So if you don't know it, you're left behind.
Yeah.
So no matter what age you are, you're actually forced to really take part in this whole thing. I noticed there's a course for senior citizens in regards to computer. I cited in the newspaper.
Yeah.
So I would encourage the seniors, don't feel old. Just do what you have to do and learn and go with the flow.
There's some islands in the Caribbean. What they're doing actually now is that they have this mobile van, and they go to different districts, and they teach the seniors how to use computers. That's such a beautiful program.
It is. Yeah. It is. You have no regret. You have nothing to lose because knowledge.
Yeah.
So it's an increase in knowledge. So therefore, I encourage our seniors to just do it. Just try to learn, and just do it, and it's gonna come.
I notice now too, a lot of seniors on Facebook.
Yep. But you know, again, it's never a dull moment. You know, you really have something to do. The only thing that with Facebook that I advise people to stop putting their private business on the Facebook.
And mostly young people
It
do
is,
that.
I mean, it's craziness, you know, it's really out of hand. That's the only issue that I have with it. You don't need to put your private business there.
Yeah.
You know, the kind of things that at times that is written up and, you know, it's not nice.
It's amazing because I can't understand why people will put their private business on Facebook, you know.
And when things get out of hand, you want to blame your neighbor, you want to blame somebody, you got to blame yourself because you put it out there.
But there's more privacy.
No privacy at all. So I really don't like that. I don't agree with it then.
I think the bad part of it too is there's some young girls who are posting pictures of themselves on Facebook in very compromising position. I think that is not good either.
None of it is good when it comes down to that. So they have to use, you know, a kind of wisdom in doing certain things, and you also have to be more respectful of yourself. You know, have that self-respect, and you know, don't put yourself publicly out there with foolishness that you will live to regret as well, because people do things and then they live to regret it. You know,
and you know it doesn't go away.
And it don't go. It remains. It sticks. You know, so do use something. Use the Facebook positively. Because there are a lot of positive things on it, but please don't go, you know, make it private and then you expose yourself to all sorts of situations on Facebook. It's not necessary.
So you have your Facebook page?
I have it. Sometimes I'm thinking I'm taking it off. 1 minute, you know, flash goes my mind, let me get off of this thing. And then next time I say, no, let me leave it. You know, at a given moment, sometimes you can get kind of confused at times. I believe it depends on your mood swing. So it depends on my mood swing, actually.
But I can understand how some people find the time to put all the crap that I see sometimes. There's some people like they're constantly there.
They live on it. They live on it. They just love it. They live on it.
Well, this is nice. In fact, I saw a guy the other day. He was in Colombia, and every morning he'll post something from his phone. You know, he's at the bus stop. He's there. You know, so people could track him as he moved through.
Oh my goodness. Colombia, I guess he's a patient over there, you know, and at times when you're waiting on your appointment, which can be a little while, you know, you need to spend your time doing something. You just can't stay in your bed all day because then you get sicker than sick, you know. So they move about, and that's good.
So it serves a good purpose in a way.
It serves a good purpose.
So what else have you been doing since you had this long vacation, 2 months?
Actually, when I came back, I just continued my working because I do work with a private agency and doing home care, taking care of sick people at home. Because your retirement doesn't say that you retire from life, from everything that around you. I am a busy person, and beside that, I do fly away with my patients overseas for medical attention because I'm supposed to leave this weekend most probably. And it's a good thing I'm busy. I keep busy because if you don't keep yourself busy, your mind becomes lazy and then you get sick. It does not make sense to sit back and do nothing. The mind gets idle and you lose it at an early age, because being 60 doesn't say that you're old. I'm young. I'm advancing. I'm advancing. So I need to keep myself busy that I don't get back in the idle mind, and then you kind of lose it. And you lose your memory, become dement and all of that. Not me.
You know, today I saw you, and I said, okay, at least I saved money, so I don't have to call you to remind you for the show tonight. And then you passed, and you went into the tax office. But before you did that, I don't know if you remember what you did. You don't remember?
I can't remember, but I know I was packing. I packed my car.
So you said good morning to the security lady at the booth there.
Yes,
a nice
I did.
lady she's from Dominica. Very nice lady. And I said to myself, you see, Maria is a real St. Martin person. I'm sitting in the car there.
Wow.
And you said good morning. I heard the good morning. Everybody heard the good morning. That's a real St. Martin person. You don't find us today doing that anymore, huh?
No, and she's a nice lady and from Dominica. And as I'm saying here, I would like to also say my sympathy, condolences to the people of Dominica in regards to Hurricane Erika. My heart goes out to you all and my prayers as well. But you know, God brings us at times to a place where we need to also be able to reflect, you know, on ourselves. And it comes in different forms. And the wind and the storms, they draws our attention. It's just like when Lewis 20 years ago struck us. It drawed our attention where people need to come together. People need to be united. And these forces are also a way of bringing people together. Now we are all reaching out and really helping. And from around the world, or in the Caribbean, a matter of fact, are reaching out to Dominica. The same thing happened to us 20 years ago. It looked like yesterday.
Yeah.
You know, so in life, these are the situations that we are faced with. And therefore, I say to all Dominicans, be strong, have the faith. Everything will be in, or will fall in place as it is going right now. So just be blessed and keep looking up.
And another thing is that it was just a tropical
depression,
a tropical storm. It wasn't even 50 miles when they passed there, but so much water fell.
A lot of rain. Water. A lot of hills in Dominica as well, and rivers. So, you know, it's like a spout. It catch the water and, you know, it come down. And water have a force in it. I mean, wind, fire, and water are the three forces of the universe. So, you know, we got to respect. When we're balling right now for rain, but when the rain starts to come, we probably would be singing a different tune. So, you know, we just have to take it easy and let the handiworks of the Lord continue.
So, a lot of things have been happening to this year. You know, we had quite some robberies and the killing of that police officer. And just a few days ago in Simpson Bay, another jewelry store was robbed.
Wow.
You're seeing so many things happening on this beautiful island. It's hard to imagine. And these things are happening on St. Martin.
They're happening all over. And while I was abroad...
Well, I've got to hold it there. One moment. I don't like that word.
You don't?
No. You know why? Because it might be happening all over.
But we are
But
small.
I was born here. And you know St. Martin. I don't know if you were born, but I was born here.
I was born here.
Okay. And you know, this is a paradise. I always tell people where I grew up, in town, in the Secretariat Stick there, right in the alley, peaceful people. We never took things that wasn't ours. So I don't like to use the word it's happening all over because it didn't used to happen here. So
but it's happening now.
So there's got to be a reason that all of a sudden we've changed to become this.
We haven't changed, you know. We are talking here about progress come to our country and all things come with it. It sometimes does, it would not happen right away because progress didn't just happen, it grew. It didn't happen overnight. It took a time for us to reach, for St. Martin to reach where it is. So everything else took time, where it have reached now to the boiling point, where it's boiled over into a lot of criminal activity. We don't think like our children are thinking at this time. This is a different generation with different thoughts. Like how I was speaking about the technology. When we were small, we didn't have these things either. All of this is part of progress. All of this is part of the increase in knowledge before the end time. So therefore, we have to kind of control ourselves. Everybody is responsible for himself. So therefore, you and I are responsible for ourselves. Our children are responsible for themselves. Their children are responsible for themselves in thought. Because each individual have their very own mind. Nobody can walk in your head. You are the one that is controlling your thoughts. Now, you have eyes to see, ears to hear, and a mouth to speak. Like how you have a nose as well to smell. So therefore, you have to figure out for yourself what is good for your ears, good for your eyes, and good for your mouth to say. Because this is what is feeding your thought. You can come from a very ambitious family. That does not mean to say that the child would have the same ambition. Even when you teach them, it left to them as an adult to find the ambition for themselves. So sometimes we are blessed to have our children that come out of us that have the ambition that we try to instill in them and they go with it. But you have those, no matter how you try to instill that your ambition in them, it just don't work. It's the same way as if the father is a doctor, sometimes they want to force the children to become a doctor because I'm a doctor, you have to be a doctor. It don't work like that. That child has its own mind. The same way with anything else. But what we have noticed is the negative things in life is the easiest things that children would pick up and follow.
Well, simply, if you have
simple as that.
If you look at your yard is full of weeds that grow up all the time. You plant a fruit tree, it takes years to grow.
Your fruit tree, you have to water your fruit tree.
Take good care of it.
You do not have to water the weed.
Yeah.
So it just shows you in life, this is how it goes. So if you want to be somebody, you have to have that strong moral, and it starts with the frame of thought. So it starts from your mindset. So if you have that strong mindset, because if it's weak, it's gone. It will be just like the weed, take over. You fall into a pit that you can't get out. A lot of our children are falling in pits. They are following their friends, they reach to the edge of the pit, and there's no mindset to tell them, if I keep one more leap and I'll be in. No, they don't have that strength enough. So those that don't have the strength enough, are those are the ones that are going to fall in. Now, when you fall in, your friend ain't going close by because you sink and gone already, and they don't want to fall in there. So they back off and leave you right there. You die. This is where our parents are trying, because there are parents in St. Martin that are trying morning, noon, and night. But like I say, you make the child, you didn't make their mind. There are parents that speak to their children. You're dropping down, speaking to the children, and they're not heeding. And people who don't know would say, yeah, you keep talking to the children, how much more?
I know some parents that they're good people, and they speak to their children, and guess what? Their children friends come and threaten them. I mean, it's just crazy.
They call it bullying. This bullying story ain't nothing new, because we grew up where in St. Martin they used to have a lot. They used to fight. They had gun and knife and stuff like that.
Bully among teenagers, but not when your children friend come and threaten you. I mean, that is
out of hand, because the children are no longer afraid of the adults. But sometimes the adults themselves are the one that causing this. Because if a child is at school and you're going to go at the school, the parents, and disrespect the teacher, you come to fight the teacher for correcting your child, what's next? That child is in the class for those amount of hours. The teacher is watching over your child. Your child, or our children, supposed to respect the teacher in the classroom. Yeah. When you don't have that, and the parents going to come, and they know they have the support. My mother, my father ain't come for you. I'm going to bring my mother and my father. This the type of behavior you get.
So why are children saying that? It's because they got the support of their parents.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. You know, so therefore you give them the strength and the power to misbehave against the teacher. So what you expect going to happen to that child? That child can't go forward in the class.
But in your days, they couldn't. Your parents would never do that.
Well, I tell you, the amount of blows that you would get, you wouldn't be able to sit on your behind.
But that's child abuse.
That's what they say now. But I know the good book says, do not spoil, don't save the rod and spoil the child. So you got to use. I don't tell you to abuse a child with MEPs and boxes and but you need to get. I can remember very clearly. Granny used to send us to get a cedar whip, because that don't break. It's either the cedar whip or the tamarind whip, or the belt. Yeah. And you get tied to a tree and you get good whipping. We would call it abuse. But I'll tell you what, it also make you, because you're afraid, you had a respect for everybody around you, whether they were your family or not, and especially at school. That doesn't mean to say that we were angels in school because we were good rude. We were good rude in school. You have disobedient children, put you in a corner, put a book on your head, and you have to stand up right there. Or you either have to kneel down in a corner, or you had to write a line, I must behave myself Ik moet me gedragen in de klas. And you had to write it like 100, 200 times
You know what
and bring it back.
You know what I used to do?
Double it.
I used to have 3 pens.
Put them between your fingers and try to write. I remember those days because I did it myself. But they were fun. They were fun when you reflect on those days now and compare them to these days now. We had a lot of fun days. And to compare now with what they have is too much of violence in the schools with the children. So that's not fun days anymore, and you cannot get, and they do not really give the punishment that they used to give before, because I believe if you give them, how are you going to give them lines to write when you have a photocopy machine that will photocopy those things like as if the original, so it's a totally different time. The problem that we have here is the behavior of our children and the guidance of the parents. That is the problem, because you should really guide your child in the right direction and not back the child when the child is wrong and going to attack the teacher. I definitely can't agree with that. That's not the way to go, because that child, you're going to lose it down the road.
No, see, because, where would we be without teachers? Teachers are very, very important.
Very important.
I look back at my life and I can remember the teachers that made a difference in my life. And I think too often here on this island, we have very little respect for teachers, and I think that's wrong.
Very wrong. Teachers, you can call them the parents of those children while they're at school. Children spend more time now at school, actually, than with their parents, because you have afternoon school and all of that as well. Before, you didn't have that. Where are the parents? Parents are out working. When the parents come home, they probably reach home like some of those that work in the day stores, then I must say, and they reach home like at 7 or minutes to 7. It's almost time for those children to go to bed. When those children gone to bed, you get up in the morning. There are some parents that work at night, and they come home, they just fix something, bam, the child gone off to school. Not much communication between parent and child, and that is where we are going also wrong.
It's strange because,
the communication part is really poor.
Today I had a conversation with someone. I was surprised when the person was telling me that there's some children that don't see their parents for days.
It is true.
I was surprised.
It is true, because at that time, the parents are resting. They fix the thing, whatever, for the child to go to school. The child basically doing things for themselves. When they reach at school, by the time they come back, parents is getting ready to head through the door. Some parents have 2 jobs. So there's a lack of communication between, and this is where things is really going bad. The children are less supervised by an adult. So therefore, those children have enough time on their hand to do things that are not right, to associate with many friends that also will teach them the wrong thing and the wrong way to go. And and after that, it's the television that is really kind of raising the children. Then again, you have the phones and the games and all of that. Who is really supervising these children to do their homework? If those children do not have self-motivation and an ambition to learn, it is difficult for them, because they do not have enough adult guidance into seeing what they are doing and to encourage them to do their schoolwork.
So having said all of that, Ms. Chemont, tell me something that won't depress me, because it's got to be so good.
There's many things that don't need to depress any one of us. Depression is something when we try to take on too much too. We don't need to take on too much things. For me, the way I see life and the way I look at things is this. If I cannot change the matter, I don't worry about it. I worry about what I can change. So my advice to you is, if you cannot change something, Ora,
just leave it alone.
Just leave it alone and do that which you can change and make you happy as a person. Because at times we are trying to make others happy. We want to do everything for other people. The question is, what am I doing for myself? I ask myself, what am I doing for myself?
But when you look around and you listen to people, everything is so sad. It's like everybody got all these problems, and there's this and there's that. The other night I was here and I said, okay, let's talk about something good, something. I couldn't get no one to tell me nothing nice.
You couldn't get somebody to tell you nothing nice?
You know?
One of the nicest things, Oral, is that we are alive right now and that we can communicate with each other and that we are pretty sure that people are watching the show and they are happy that they can see something on a screen and hear something.
But this is still a great island.
Of course, listen, St. Martin has always been a great island and it's going to be that. The island, nothing wrong with the island, you know.
And this
It
opportunity
is the
too.
people that live on the island. So again, if you want to be happy, you have to find that happiness in yourself. I am not worrying about nothing that happened around me that I cannot change. A situation happened, I can't do anything about it. I cannot sit, moan and groan about the situation that I cannot change. I need to look at what I can change, and the change starts with me. So I am supposed to do things that are going to make me feel good, but also the people that are around me, whether it is a good word, like you say, a good greeting, or something you do for the person that can't do for themselves.
Yeah.
Because that too, when you can do something, when you can help someone that cannot help themselves, it's also a good feeling. Because anytime, a matter of fact, when I pray, that's what I always say, Lord, make me a blessing to someone today. Because when you do that, and something happened that is good out of it, I always say, Lord, I thank you. Even if it's a lift I give somebody, sometimes I'm not going in a direction, but I see somebody with a baby, and I pick them up. Where you going? I'm going over there. Say, I'm not really going that way, but I will drop you. So if I'm coming, I'm going to town, and you going probably hospital, okay, I'm going to drop you there. I'm not going that way, but I will take you there because it's going to take me 2 minutes to do a person that favor. The same way with a senior citizen. I ain't necessarily going that way, but you see, sometimes you pass people on the road and you see an older person, yeah, and you stop and you give them a lift. They are so happy to know that they didn't have to hurt themselves trying to force into a bus, but you did them that favor to drop them. For me, I always look back and I remember the days that I didn't have a car. And I used to walk from K Bay up to the roundabout in Cole Bay to stand up there and catch a transportation to reach to my job at the ambulance department back in those days. There were people that were not going in that direction, and they gave me a lift, and I was very grateful. That, in return, I do to someone else. So you always remember the good that others did for you, and that's where it comes in and say, you can do good, but never expect that the person you do it to is going to be kind to you. But God will send someone to do you, in return, that same favor. So it's an extension of love.
It's
it's
amazing.
So, we have to really big up each other. And there's enough things to speak about that is positive. Things that don't need to depress you here on St. Martin.
But you said, I've said it here in this program before, I was flying one time cross country to the United States, and there was this lady, and she ordered food on the plane, and she didn't have any money. And in those days, they wouldn't take a credit card for the food. You had to pay with cash. And I said to the stewardess, okay, I'll pay for it. And we got off the flight in Las Vegas, and I went with my family, she went another way. And 2 days later now, we are waiting we're at the mall, and it's 5 of us, and we can't get a car because the taxis can only take 4 people.
Wow.
And after being there so long, these 2 elderly ladies came up and said, where are you going? And we were going to the same hotel. I said, okay, 2 of you come with us, and
the other 2.
And
exactly.
And when we got there, the 2 ladies decided they'll pay the taxi. So you see, I got back even more money than what I paid on the flight for that lady that didn't have the money to pay for that meal. So if you do good, it comes back. It
returns to you. It goes around and it comes back around.
Yeah.
So we have to also learn in life to appreciate those small things. We're looking to praise up and big up. We want big things to happen. And this is where we fail as well. Because we're looking for too much of a big thing to happen for it to be recognized. Little small things make a big difference. You can't measure it because it might be too small.
Yeah.
But it makes a big difference in the long run. And you'd be able to think back, reflect. That's where our thoughts function. Reflect on that little thing. And for you, it is a great blessing for many people.
All right.
You know? So all of those are positive things in life. So, you know.
What else are you doing these days?
The next thing that I do, I traveled to St. Eustatius recently to give a motivational workshop to the young adults, second chance students in St. Eustatius.
Okay.
These are young adults that have children, some of them, and to encourage them into leaving you know that you have a second chance and that whatever you want in life to become, it doesn't matter if you have children. You have to be able to push forward. And a lot of our people need that type of motivation. So I give that presentation the whole day in Statia for the second time because I did one before. They were overwhelmed with the presentation. So therefore, while I was on vacation, I received the invitation to come over and do that presentation again to another group. So it's like 40 students and teachers, and it went very well. You see, a lot of our people need encouragement. We are too much depressed, and we feel that, you know, the young people that I can't do this. And when I let them know at my age what I did and how I got there, they were amazed. They was like, and I said, remember this, if I can do it, you can do it too. You know, so that type of encouragement is what our young people need. I also does this at the Sundial School as well. And, you know, you see the benefits. And you see exactly what our children need. Our children need people to speak and encourage them, not only to speak, but to encourage and motivate them into becoming someone. If a girl was a became pregnant as a teenager, dropped out of school, that is not the end of her life. You gain your experience down the line, but you have to be motivated to continue to excel. Don't let that baby keep you back. Because many of great people have been down that line already and they still became great people and have achieved much. You can do the same if you're thinking that you can't. You know, so I made a lot of friends over there, and a lot of them, they want my email, they want my phone number because they want to be able to call me when they have a problem to discuss. So I look at it and I'm like, you know, Lord, use me. Use me where you see fitting. And this is one of the areas, you know, I'm naturally me. I'm not someone that, you know, you study these. No, it comes from me. This is my birth. This is my talent. This is my gift. So I use it well to help others. And I don't get in this depressed mode because there's no time. You let people know all of us are not the same. I can never be you. You can never be me. We are all individuals separately with separate thoughts, and a separate mindset. But I can help, I can encourage, because you only can encourage people to do. You only can guide them, but you can't force them. It's not like you take a hammer and beat down on a person and say this. No. But your words of encouragement should be from your own heart. Also your own experience. You can't dress up something that didn't happen. When I make a presentation to you, it's me. This is what happened to Maria. So this is Maria's experience and not out of a book. Because oftentimes, it's just like you can talk, you study something and you are talking what you study, what you have read out of the book. But when you experience your own personal drama and you can see how you have overcome that drama, it builds a stronger faith into the person that you are communicating with. Because this is real also. If she could have gotten out of this, then I can too.
So when you look at St. Martin, how you see people? You think most people are satisfied? Most people are happy with the way things are?
Everybody has their own emotions in their own setting. You're going to find people that are happy with their situation, and you have that someone else that you'd put into that same situation will be unhappy. So it all depends on every individual. It's just like some people live in filth and they could live in here and feel good, roll in it and feel good. You have those that would come in from the outside and just come close enough to smell it and run because they can't deal with it. So everybody accepts and deals with their very own situation in a different manner. If you raise up in something, that's yours. Like they would say, you take the pig out of the mud, but you can't take the mud out of the pig. Wherever he goes, he see a little bit of wetness, he will root on it until he make some mud on its own, because that's him. But now the one that is, the sheep, for instance, wouldn't find himself trying to make that, because it's two different things. You have a pig and you have a sheep. So, it's a different thing.
But now, if we take it into perspective, Samaritan today, and this is just hypothetical now, we have a lot of pigs, maybe we can dress them up in the lipstick and coat and tie.
And he remain a pig. Because with that tie around his neck, if you spit on the ground, he will make a big mud out of that. That is life. So, so we have to look for the best things in life that suits us.
The reason why I said that, Chemont, is because the other day I heard a guy saying that a lot of the problems that we have in Samaritan is because we allow too many people to come in from other countries, bring their bad habit and so forth. And I tend to disagree with that, because we have to, if we set rules and guidelines and say, okay, you could be a pig, but you know what, hey, this here, we don't allow mud because we got concrete, and
Exactly.
But we just say, okay, you come in, you're a pig, well, you bring some mud, it's okay, rub up in your mud there. I'm just using this as a metaphor here, but I think this is our problem. And then we sit back and then we blame everyone.
We like to blame people. We like to throw the blame on others, but we need to blame ourselves. We don't need to be followers. Whoever visits us here, we need to show them that we are leaders and not followers.
We love to follow.
We love to follow. And this is the major problem that we have, being followers. Our children, the weaknesses, even our adults. Because we're hammering the children, the children watching the adults. Because, for instance, we have our men and we have our women of St. Martin that don't want to be themselves.
Really?
Oh, they don't want to be themselves.
How do you mean? I don't understand that one.
What I'm saying is, for instance,
explain that to me.
With the Latin story.
Okay.
Our men, you would hear them speaking Spanish even if they don't know what they're saying. That's one of the things, because they need to be a follower. They need to be feeling accepted in a certain group
of people. Spanish
don't know what they're saying. They don't know what they're saying. And the same Spanish people are speaking with calling them all kind of names and they don't understand. But they think and it's a joke, so they're laughing. But then they're laughing at their very own selves because they're calling them monos and monkeys and they doesn't even know.
Are we donkeys?
Whatever. and they laugh with that, but they didn't realize what they were just called.
Wow.
So they're laughing while those people are laughing at them.
No,
so that's just an example, and this is real.
This is happening. This is real.
Of course, this happening not now. This happening for years. Maybe some of them improving the Spanish language by now, after whatever. But this has been from the 1980s when this thing started to happen. You understand? Did we never show, man or woman never show their potential of being somebody on their own, being a leader. Instead of that, they began to be a follower. And when you start to follow, you must fall in the hole. You will fall in a crack.
Wow.
Don't be so your children are looking at you. So if it's good for daddy and mommy to be that way, they follow too. And when you look back, then you blame the children. But where they got it from? Who was their leader? The father and the mother. So it continues. There's nothing new under the sun that is happening that haven't happened before. It has happened before. The problem is we probably were busy with something else that we didn't take heed. We didn't pay attention. What we need to do is pay more attention to what is happening around us and stop looking too far, because things are happening right under our noses and we are missing it. This is where we are going wrong, and this is where our children also are being misled.
Well, a lot of people blaming the government for everything. I think that's wrong too.
They blame government for everything, but who's the government? The government is the people. I am the government because I govern my own place. I govern my house. So whatever rules I set there should be followed in my place. So when you go through my door, you need to know that you need to abide in by the rules that you were taught in my house, which I govern. If you don't have that, then you're lost. Our people don't have the command of that anymore. And everything what happen, they point their finger, the government. But the government is you. If the government can't come in your house and tell you how to raise your children. You should know as a parent from the minute you put yourself in a position to become a parent, you are the one that is responsible for your youth. From the time you conceive until the time that that child reached 21 years. I don't say 18, I say 21. Or from the time that that child left you to go abroad, because then they are younger than 21. You don't, that child should be prepared by you, the parent. So you have to instill in that child and try that and hope and pray that that child would understand what you are teaching it. If you are teaching and guiding the proper way, that child will be a success when it reach overseas. Then you expect to hear some good news. But if you as a parent or we as parents does not guide and instill certain morals and values in our children, we cannot blame the government. So when they go out there shooting down people, we can't blame government. They complain that the children propping up on these kind of bikes and wheelie, they're doing wheelie or whatever. Who are you supposed to, you blaming government? Where are these children parents? The first day you see the child on one of those things,
but sometimes
you're supposed to.
The parents don't know sometimes.
They don't know because the parents out working. You can't tell them nothing because if you the neighbor see and you say, you better mind your business. They will read for you. The same parents will read for you because you're busy minding their children's business. You're busy mind your own business and the hyper expressions behind it. I can tell you because I hear those with my own ears. You know, so you know, I know for a fact the behavior of the parents in regards to the children, but they're blaming the government. The laws are there to be followed. It's the same way you would find us driving without a seatbelt. We know the law. On the dot side. From the time you hit the frontier, you already remember that, shoot, put on that seatbelt because the gendarme there. So why can't we obey the rule on the dot side too? And I'm talking here, us as adults do that. You understand?
Yeah.
So the children in the back of the car, hey, listen, everybody sit quiet. Make sure I seatbelt fasten. Coming from Europe, you know from the minute you step in that car, you better have that seatbelt on because my children will tell me, Mommy, seatbelt, because they'll get a fine. So why can't we abide by the rules of the land? What the government have to come down here, have to crack down here. But when you, all of us in Martin, people, the majority of them now traveling overseas. And they are seeing the rules in the other countries. A lot of people that are in St. Martin have come from abroad. But from the time they hit Juliana Airport,
but a lot of people
change.
A lot of people can't travel now because they have no money. Yeah.
Well, if they didn't travel to leave since they get in St. Martin, for sure they had traveled to get here.
Yeah, they got a lot of people now without money here. A lot of people.
Well, I don't know about not having money because when you're going to read in a newspaper that a man had $70,000 in cash that his friend could have thief and they were at the airport leaving and a woman would have $20,000 in cash. No, this is serious.
Yeah, well, she said she had 5.
She said 5 and then it was 20.
Right.
Okay. I read this story of this whole robbery thing. And my question was, well, they say St. Martin don't have any money, but if a man can have $70,000 in cash for somebody else to thief and try to leave the island, then St. Martin got money somewhere on a tree growing somewhere oral, to tell you the truth. But I need to find, we need to find the tree because it is impossible. But it was cash money and it was real. So therefore, money circulating somewhere, whether it's growing on some tree, we need to find the tree, but money is circulating here in this place, and maybe me and you are not benefiting, and maybe a few chosen few. But money is circulating.
I'll tell you one thing. In fact, a lot of young people um, are just sitting down and watching and expecting it to fall in their laps. But sometimes you see people have business and they work really hard to make money, and then others just come by and just whoop, take it away. That's not good either.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
The youths that are doing that, they want to have money, but they don't want to work for the money. They sit by, watch us work, and they come and steal. That's a bad thing. That is not a good thing. Because how long are we going to hold up like this? This is where it causes debt.
Yeah.
Because somebody, if the thief don't shoot if the thief don't shoot the victim shoots the thief. You end up in jail for your own sweat. It is not fair. Our youth need to know that by your sweat of your brow you shall eat bread, and not by stealing what's not yours. Those are the morals that we need to instill in the children.
This is a lovely island. I love St. Martin. St. Martin, there's a lot of opportunity. A lot of good things can happen here on this island.
Oh, yes.
We can make it happen. I think we need to encourage our young people to let them know there's opportunity, there's hope, for anyone who's willing to work on this island.
You have to have the ambition to want to be a person of respect. You have to have the ambition to want to have a good life, an honest life. Because what is an honest life? A life where a person is working and making his honest bread to eat and to feed his family.
I'll take a call for you. Oral Gibbes live and caller. Hello.
Good evening, OJ.
Good evening.
Just called to give a special good evening to Maria Chemont.
Good evening.
She's a blessed lady, man. She just, any time she comes on your show, she always hits the nail on the head. As what she mentioned before, you had a break. Feeling these break-ins, people working so hard. Then you have them. Then you have the same, as we will call them, the hood boys in your neighborhood. Because if you live in Bel Air,
right,
nobody from St. Peter's going to come all the way up in there. It's right those around there.
Right.
Would not want to work and just stalking to see us. The time you hit the main road, they're already have the whole thing. But somebody is going to get killed. Exactly what you said. And then you're going to be prosecuted to go in prison. That's why, as I'm saying, what I blame the law for is because they're protecting these criminals. They're not protecting we. And these guys don't know it. From a source that was in Point Blanche mentioned and said, yeah, because what you think when we are there, we discuss how to get to catch me. This time, we're going to do it different so they won't catch. That's what they do. They boast and they brag about what they're doing out there, and when they catch them, next time I ain't going to catch them that easy. But one of them, the innocent pays for the guilty, but one of these days, the guilty will be punished severely. Good evening to you, both of you. God bless you, Maria.
Thank you.
Thanks, good night. I guess she figured out what we were saying during the break, really, and because a lot of people, it's hurting a lot of people.
It's not fair. We are hurting. And who are hurting us? Our own. Because a lot of our children are getting in, we say, pointing the fingers again, the foreign people. Our own local children, they are the ones that are doing these things as well. They are getting involved with those, so they're mixed up. And instead of this saying, St. Martin is my island, I have nowhere to go from here. If I do this, I'm killing my country. And no, they ain't saying that. They're getting involved with them. And they're committing these crimes. And then it's like, yes, the reason why they are doing this is because the father, the mother, they had it hard in life.
That's a poor excuse.
It's a stupid excuse that is unacceptable and should be unacceptable by anyone.
And you know what gets me a little disturbed when people and I tell them don't make that statement around me. What you wanted to do, they can't find a job. They can't find a job. When I couldn't find a job, I didn't go wrong and steal.
You did something to get an honest dollar. But no, they prefer to sit on the block, burn the rock, burn the butt, and be able to get up in the night when everybody is supposed to be sleeping and raid the road and attack not only our guests, attack everybody because they're attacking the local person who's probably coming or going to a job.
Yeah.
And they're stealing you, they're pulling off a chain, they're pulling your purse and going. I mean, this is a sad thing. And as you said, this is what we have allowed to become in this place because we do not have the grip and hold upon our children. For me, Oral, I will tell you, if a woman or a man know that they're not going to be responsible parents to raise their children properly, don't breed and get them. And this is where I'm saying family planning come in. They got a lot of work to do in this place because we are having too much of children that have no parents. And when I mean no parents, I mean no parents. Ni father, ni mother. Mother walking, who watching them? Father gone. He saw his seed and he left. That child becomes a problem to society.
But when a child hear their parents make a remark like they can't find a job, so what you want them to do, that's just encouraging them more to go deeper into crime. And people work hard for their things.
All of us that working is going to feel it.
Yeah.
You understand? Because you have a set of young girls walking around. You see a man, oh, he loves me. Miss, I like you, girl. What your name? Get in. Next week,
is that
as
easy?
the old people say, big with child. Man gone. Yeah? After 9 months, put out child, maybe even didn't pay the hospital bill for all you know. Of course not, because child ain't got no father all of a sudden. That child grew up in a stress. That child becomes a problem. By the time 12 years, I just give them 12 years to society. We have to take care of that because we are busy taking care of it right now. We are busy taking care of all of those that came after Louis and down the line is the problems now because check their ages. It is hurtful to know when you have a child 17 years old. I start to look back. I said 17 years old. That child just come off its mother's breast and kill somebody. Just come off your mother's breast and you kill somebody. So what you're nursing here? These things, as a mother, hurts me. Because I am a mother. Imagine if that was my child. I mean, to have to go at the police station, your child shackled, thrown in a cell. Because of you not being there to guide this child many of times. Where is the father? Again, seed provider, but not food provider. No kind of a provider other than that. Society have to suffer the consequences of your unresponsibility, I must say. Because you're only responsible for sowing the seed, but you're not responsible to water that seed and nurture that seed into a good person. Well, at least do something.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, Chemont. A lot of people don't like to hear you speak like this. This is a touchy issue in Samaritan these days because many people, have their children and they run the fall of the law. So it's not a comfortable thing for people to sit at home sometimes and watch a program because normally when you're here, a lot of people will call, but they don't want to touch on this one.
The fact is that just a few weeks ago, we have experienced the downfall of the police officer.
Right.
The whole of I was not here. I was on vacation. I was abroad.
It was very sad.
And I cried every morning that I look at the newspaper and I read this thing online. I really had to shed my tears to know. Again, look at the kind of children that we are raising in this community to commit these type of crimes against their own people. Yeah. You understand? I saw while I was in, a matter of fact, while I was in Holland, there was a video clipping that was shown to me.
Only have 30 seconds.
About Bush Boy, some Bush Boy story. And I'm wondering if any of the authorities have seen this video. Because the amount of guns
I saw the video.
that are displayed there and the cash and the money and the cocaine and the crack and the stuff like this. Did they see this video?
It's all over YouTube.
It's all over YouTube. St. Martin.
Yeah.
Is this what we are producing? Is this what we want? God help our families.
Some other time. Thanks for coming. All right? All the best. Okay. That's it for now. See you next time. Good night. Take care. Bye.